Welcome everyone to another video, and today we're going to take a look at the Pokemon Drapion in the Ultra League. Drapion got nerfed during this season where its charge move Crunch got its chance of debuffing the opponent's defense drop from 30% to 10%. So that is a very low chance of hitting, and if I'm mistaken 10% is also the chance of you getting the buff from things such as Ancient Power and as well as Silver Wind and Ominous Wind. So if you know how bad those moves are at getting the buffs, that would most probably be the case as well for Drapion with its Crunch debuffs. So with it we will have Giratina in the lead because we have not seen that many things with that Giratina are weak against. So we haven't seen that many like Zygardes because Crunch is also a vital part of its moveset. We also haven't seen that many Fairy types because of the poison types that are on the rise, such as Nidoqueen and Tentacruel, as well as we do not see that many Feraligatrs so far. And to round out this team, we will have Umbreon in the back with Snarl, Foul Play and Last Resort. You can also use Dark Pulse as a hard hitting Dark type move if you want to. And with that, let us get into the videos and the battles. And during the first battle, we see a Nidoqueen in the lead. Nidoqueen with access to Poison Sting will be extremely spammy in this scenario, but it does not have anything that hits Giratina hard enough for super effective damage. All of its attacks are neutral, so they immediately swap into Belly Bolt, and we will counter swap into our Drapion, and let's see whether we are able to get any debuffs off in this video, because as you can see here, the first one did not get us a debuff, which is fine because before this it was 30%. That means for every 10 that you throw, logically you should get about 3 of them to debuff your opponent, but this time that one that we threw did not get it, and they swap back into their Nidoqueen and we chip their Nidoqueen as well before dipping out into our Giratina again. And this is usually how the battles go in Ultra League, where you just try to switch out as much as possible to try to get realignment back, and that is what we are going to do today as well. So here we are going to see that Stone Edge does about 50% of the health, but we will be able to outspam Nidoqueen to the next charge move and we will be able to take them out. And here, as their last Pokemon, they have Jellicent, which means that Umbreon will win this fairly easily. Umbreon is very tanky, and we will be able to also take out their Belly Bolt, which is already low health in the back. And we just swapped out into our Drapion there to make sure that they throw all their energy out before we go into our Umbreon, because Surf does hit quite a bit as well, even though Umbreon is tanky, and we win that battle. And now in the second match, we will be meeting a Shadow Typhlosion in the lead, which is very good for us, and we are met with a Greninja, which I feel like is a bit iffy for this team because the most that we can do is neutral damage, and we thought that they were going to go for another Water Shuriken before swapping out, but instead they stayed in for that. They immediately threw that Night Slash against us, which we are going to catch the next one on our Umbreon, and Umbreon takes it quite well, and we are going to immediately throw the Last Resort, hoping to get them out first and foremost. Unfortunately, it was not enough. Umbreon is just not attack weighted enough for that assignment, and we are going to throw Last Resort to stall the switch timer before going into our Giratina again. Virizion is the one that we want to meet in the lead. I mean in the lead against Giratina, but it's okay. We will have Drapion in the back to handle Typhlosion if possible. Right now I have lost count of how many Incinerates it has done, but let's just hope that Drapion is able to take them out fast enough. And here we should have noticed that they were going to go for a Night Slash, but instead we shielded that, which means that we are going to be in a shield advantage against this Typhlosion, which is going to be iffy. Let's just hope they throw that we are able to catch. They throw their blast burn onto our Umbreon and we catch it. And we do, unfortunately, they undercharge it perfectly and they are able to get just enough incinerates to get to another blast burn to take out our Drapion here. We are just so close to getting into that foul play to take them out. Unfortunately, we were not able to, and that would be game. And now going into the third battle, we have Decidueye in the lead, which is still okay for us. Unfortunately, Decidueye is one with a quite broad coverage of charge moves. It has Frenzy Plant, it has Spirit Shackle, it also has access to Brave Bird in this instance, which we are able to tank, but it will put us very low, in which case we are going to hopefully we are able to take down this Typhlosion without needing to go into our Giratina, in which case we do. And now they are going to come back with their Decidueye again, in which case we can come back in with our Umbreon, and this is a very dominant matchup here. But we are going to shield that first charge move because our Giratina has taken some damage in the early game and we want to preserve that as much as possible. And in this case, we have a Ember Charizard as their last Pokemon, which of course has access to Dragon Claw, which is super effective against Giratina. But because Giratina is quite bulky, we will be able to tank quite well and most probably take 2 of those before going down. And here we are able to take both of their shields and still get a Dragon Claw, which means that we are going to be able to get into Umbreon and farm them down relatively easy, and Umbreon will be able to tank any charge move that they throw against us at this health. Now in the fourth battle, it's another Pokemon that would have been iffy for this match, for this team, if only it was running Shadow Claw. Unfortunately, it was running Waterfall, which means that it is very good for our Giratina. We should have stayed in to scout the move, but we thought that it would be too dangerous if we are behind on energy. And we really swapped into our Drapion and they immediately swapped into their Steelix, which is running Dragon Tail, which is still okay for our backline. Unfortunately, it just means that it is quite bad for our Giratina, but we do trust in our Giratina to seal this game because their Feraligatr is running Waterfall instead of Shadow Claw, and therefore it is safe for us to just come in with Giratina, farm them down, get the energy advantage and spam those Dragon Claws as we are doing here, which begs the question, what do they have in the bag that they have to come in with a Waterfall Feraligatr against a Giratina and just throwing some resisted fast moves. But it's okay, I mean, we don't mind that, but unfortunately for them, they have a Scaladage in the back, which again is very good for our Umbreon because Umbreon is a dark type, of course, will be able to hit them for super effective damage. And the only thing that can threaten Umbreon back is a Disarming Voice, which Scaladage only has 50% chance of bringing because they will usually want to bring Shadow Ball and either Torch Song or Disarming Voice, and they will not be able to bring both most of the times. And we will take that battle. And the last one, like I said earlier, Virizion is what we want to see in the lead, and they have a Typhlosion in the back, and we are going to try to outspam them. We will be able to outspam them for sure. It's just a matter of whether or not they are wanting to commit both shields or not for this matchup, and we will try to make them force both shields so that our Giratina will have a fun time in the back. And here they decided to use both shields, which is good for us, and we are going to immediately swap out into our Umbreon against their Blastoise. Both of these Pokemons are tanky, but the difference being Blastoise has access to Skull Bash, which will make them incredibly tankier than before. But in the Ultra League, you try to have some coverage moves for the opponents that you might see, and in this instance you might see the Ice Beam for the Dragon types. I'm sorry for that. I wasn't expecting to get a call. So yeah, with that we win the game. And let me know what you think about Drapion. Is it still viable in the Ultra League? As you can see here, I mean, even though we didn't use Crunch that many times in this battle, I just feel like it should have been a little bit higher in terms of the debuff chance. Maybe the debuff to 20% chance would have been suffice. Let me know down below what you think about that. And that is the end of the video, and I'll see you in the next.